Hi everyone, welcome back to the Automotive Logistics and Supply Chain Red Sofa here in Bonn. I'm pleased to be joined by Levent Yuksel, Freight Operations Director at JLR, responsible for all global inbound and vehicle logistics at the company. And Levent, you're here at the event talking across two key topics actually. One is partnership, particularly partnership across other manufacturers and suppliers and LSPs, as well as sustainability. I'd like to connect these two things. How can OEMs, manufacturers, partner better together to achieve sustainability goals in freight, in reducing freight emissions?
Yeah, it's actually, I can't segregate them from one each other because it's all about collaboration between the OEMs and the LSPs and the partners. Because the key thing is that the more we understand each other, the more we stay close to each other and share the objectives and the initials that we want to achieve, then we have a better understanding and better ideas come to the surface. So that is transparency, better information sharing, integrity, maintaining the information we share, and then finding more creative ways. Then the more we go into that collaboration space, the better we can plan our activities, the better we can run the operations, and the more we are efficient, the more we are effective, that will pay the dividend in terms of the sustainability. So they're all hand to hand, they're all linked with each other. And that is the key approach that we are implementing between our space with our partners.
You were here with us last year and we shared a stage at the time with Etienne Jacob from Plastic Omnium, so an important tier one, identifying at the time that there are areas that could improve the communication and the way that an OEM and tier one works together. You've taken it upon yourself to work directly with Etienne and his team. What are some of the things that have come out of that? Just give us some ideas. What are some of the objectives of this partnership?
Yeah, actually, at that occasion, it was a good eye-opener because although we are very close operating supplier and OEM partners, but still there were some gaps which we have identified, and notwithstanding that they were all in the logistics space, but what we have done, I brought all the stakeholders together. We came together and we opened up the subjects openly, as transparently, and then we identified the things and we knocked them down, and that has led a better way of collaboration with our tier one supplier, because we are operating in the same sphere. And they are having a heavy operation in terms of the parts and their tier suppliers, and with our plans. Then this has led a better way of engagement. First, eliminating the communication issues, and then identifying the key objectives, and then attacking the potholes and the open areas so that we can collaboratively solve them. And that has led a very good activity in terms of efficiency, sustainability, and also some creative solutions.
Absolutely. Well, we'll be sharing more of the highlights from that. One of the things we're doing here is a workshop as well on sustainability, and particularly trying to get around the topic of investment. How do we break the link to get between the OEM and LSP? We know we need to encourage investment in freight technology, but right now perhaps it's not always so easy to justify the ROI or the cost, etc. What are ways, what do you like to see happen in the next step to take some important steps forward on that?
I think it's very important. At the moment, we as the logistics operational teams and also the LSPs, we are very much aware of what's coming and how we need to take our stance, but it's a long run activity, and in the grand scheme of the things, it's not coming in the first place, but we need to do the investment today, collectively, and that is having a kind of impact on our finances in this period. So there is a big task for all of us working together to identify the smart ways of reducing the impact now, but still investing for the future, because we have a route map until 2030 and then 2039, but also we have the yearly tasks and quarterly task objectives of achieving some other corporate objectives. However, we can't postpone our activities. So at that point, we are working very closely with the logistics service providers and our partners to find good ways of co-investing, and that also calls for, we are looking into the way we contract and the way we work together with them, and that brings the question about contract terms and duration, and then how can we establish a flexible but still long-sighted view so that we can co-invest. And this is evolving, and we pick up these kind of good sparks, and then we work on them to establish that kind of understanding and stakeholder alignment. That is a big activity, that big challenge for all of us to work on.
What role do you think governments have to play,
I think
specifically in the freight logistics?
That's a big role for the government, because now it's being directed towards the electrification, and it's our reimagine objectives. But for the electrification, do we have the right infrastructure? So that's something which big enabler. And in terms of, even if I'm not only referring to the charging stations, but also the grid power, because at the moment, if I shift everything to the electrified transportation, I don't have the power yet,
no.
Let alone the charging units,
no.
And the wait times are huge. So what is the best enabler from the government and the states is to enable that level of funding, enable prioritization of those open access anchor locations for refueling. And it's not only the electricity. I think I'm talking about from a pragmatic and practical way. We can start with biofuels. That anchor, open access anchor spaces will generate a big enabler, because we are having the same kind of directional orientation and understanding with our partners. But if the infrastructure is not there, we can't move on that. And it's a massive investment, as you all know. But I think we are generating kind of understanding and a good advocating the message about that. We all have to bear our responsibilities and share in this journey.
Absolutely. The last question, and we'll make it a quick one. If there's one thing, when we come back here next year at this time, back in Bonn, what's one thing you will have hoped to have achieved in that time in terms of improving your freight operations? Yeah,
it's a good question. And if I need to bundle in one answer, I think my core objective is to achieve our reimagine journey, reimagine strategy milestones, because reimagine has the customer love in it, to achieve our commitments to our customers, and the sustainability and collaboration and unity and the growth. So they are all encapsulated. So I would like to update you about how good steps we have taken in our journey in the reimagine strategy.
Well, that's one thing we're going to note, so watch out here, folks. We're going to be covering that across our cover automotive logistics for sure over the months and weeks to come, and we'll talk about it next year as well. Levent, thanks so much for joining us on the Red Sofa.
Thank you, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Chris.